Hey coaster fans, welcome to the top 17 roller coasters at Cedar Point. And Cedar Point is a Cedar Fair park located in Sandusky, Ohio, and I've visited this park so many times, I can't even count on one finger how many times I've been there. I've been there so many times, just as much as I've been to my home park, Hershey Park. So I will be counting down the top 17 roller coasters. Starting at number 17, we have Wilderness Run, and it's just your kiddie coaster, nothing very special. Though it may be from one of my favorite roller coaster manufacturers, the Intamin kiddie coaster. I love Intamin, but this kiddie coaster doesn't have to do anything special. Though it used to be called Junior Gemini, but still, it's nothing very special. It has to be in last place. Number 16 is Mean Streak, and this ride came very close to being last place because of how shaky it is. This ride is not enjoyable at all. It is just so shaky. My head hit against the lap bar. It is just very shaky, and it's pretty boring as well. I really don't like this ride because of how rough it is. There were a few times where I got on Mean Streak, and then I realized I do not want to go on again. It is one of the worst roller coasters I have ever been on. And coming in 15th place is Woodstock Express. Though I did prefer a junior coaster over a CCI or whatever that woody thing is. I put a junior coaster over a large wooden coaster. I thought Woodstock Express was a lot smoother than Mean Streak. But this doesn't have to do anything special because it's a junior coaster. And number 14 we have is Corkscrew. And it's another ride how I determine rough. And this is one of the worst aerodynamic looping coasters I've ever been on. Possibly the worst one I've been on. Corkscrew is very shaky, but it's definitely not as rough as Mean Streak in my opinion. But Corkscrew is pretty rough. The drop is, I do not feel the drop at all. And when I go through the airtime hill, it's very shaky and the loop is pretty shaky. Just about the whole entire ride is shaky, and it's just your standard corkscrew coaster. Another thing that we don't have to do anything special. Number 13, we have the aerodynamic suspended coaster Iron Dragon. Though I do prefer a few other coasters over that, but still, Iron Dragon's not too bad. It's a very long ride. So it's a little bit shaky, but still, it was okay. Coming in 12th place is the aerodynamic mine train, Cedar Creek Mine Ride. And this is one of the best mine train coasters I've ever been on. It's very fun, and it's one of the smoother rides I've been on. Though I do prefer Runaway Mine Train at Six Flags Great Adventure over that one, but still, this is one of the best mine trains I've been on. It was pretty enjoyable. And coming in 11th place is Gemini, the hybrid racing coaster. I did see a little bit of head banging throughout the ride, but still, it's pretty smooth. It's not too bad. I thought it was a very enjoyable ride, and it was one of the first roller coasters throughout my first visit. Number 10, we have the PTC wooden coaster Blue Streak. It's a very smooth ride, and it has a lot of airtime. It has some pretty decent airtime. It's not too bad. I thought it was a very enjoyable coaster. And number 9 coming up is Magnum XL 200. Though the stats may be very high on this ride, though it may have a great height, and though the drop may be fun, and though it has a lot of good airtime, and though it may be fast, it is shaky. I have to admit, this ride is pretty shaky. Not like Mean Streak or Corkscrew shaky, but it is pretty rough in my opinion. I did experience some headbanging, but still, the airtime's not too bad, and it's very high in stats. It's a very good sign to be high in stats, but still, it needs to be, it still needs to be a little more smoother. Could have been smoother. Number 8, we have the Wicked Twister, and it's just the Intamin Impulse coaster, but it has a pretty unique layout. Because each tower twists each other, which is pretty cool. Though it is a very fun ride, I thought it was still enjoyable. The layout is pretty unique throughout the other ones, like possessed, but the V2 vertical velocity at Six Flags Discovery Kingdom has a unique layout. It may not be as unique as V2 at Six Flags Discovery Kingdom, but still, it's very fun. I really like this ride. Coming in 7th place is the B&M Floorless Coaster Rougarou. Yeah, they used to have the Mantis, the B&M stand-up, so they closed the ride down and they turned it into a B&M Floorless Coaster with a different color scheme. I really like the color scheme, and it's very, very smooth. It's a very decent Floorless Coaster. Though if you could have used a little more inversions, then that ride would be a fan favorite. But still, Rougarou is not too bad. Though it's very smooth and it's pretty enjoyable, and the restraints are pretty comfortable. So, coming in 6th place is the B&M Invert Raptor. It's definitely not the best invert. It's definitely not as good as the Montu or Banshee, but the Raptors, it's really good. I really like how intense this ride is. I really love the drop, and the inversions are pretty enjoyable, and it's not too rough. And it's a pretty smooth ride. And it has a pretty unique layout as well. Though it's just as near as Valraven. I really like the way how Raptor interacts with Valraven because of how close it is. Still, Raptor has a pretty unique layout. It's pretty smooth. And I thought it was not too bad. And next up, we have my favorite B&M wing coaster, Gatekeeper. Oh my golly. This roller coaster is so intense. This is the most intense wing coaster I've been on. The restraints are very comfortable, and the wing over drop is amazing. You go just about a little over 170 feet. Really good stats, and it's a pretty smooth ride as well. And the inversions are really good. It has a lot of inversions, and it's such a cool ride. I've been on this ride so many times, but not as much as I've been on the top 3, but still, it's a very cool ride. If you want thrilling, try Gatekeeper. It is amazing. And number 4 is the B&M dive coaster that opened this year, Valraven. This is the best dive coaster I've been on. Though the Griffin may not be as good as Valraven, but still, I really love how Valraven is the tallest, fastest, and longest floorless coaster, and it even has the most inversions. The Immelman is so tall. It's over 170 feet, and it has one of the tallest inversions on a roller coaster. Not like the Loop. When it comes to loops, Full Throttle has the tallest loop, but still, Valraven has one of the tallest inversions on a steel coaster. It is really intense, and both of the drops are really fun, and I really like the inversions. And next up, we have the Strata Coaster Top Thrill Dragster, put in number 3. Top Thrill Dragster is an incredibly short ride because of how fast it is. But still, in my opinion, Top Thrill Dragster is very intense. It's fun. It's really fast. It goes up to a 420-foot tower, reaching speeds of 121 miles per hour. But still, Top Thrill Dragster, it's a really good launch coaster, but it's definitely not as good as the 2, but still, came pretty close. And I really love the layout as well. And I really like the way where they showed the finish line, which makes the ride even more cool. And they have lap bars, while the King Ka has over-the-shoulder harnesses. And I do prefer the lap bars over the restraints. Though the restraints are comfy, but still, I do prefer the lap bars. Number 2, we have Millennium Force. And this is the Intamin Giga Coaster. Intimidator 305 has over-the-shoulder harnesses. The ones that they have Maverick and Stormrunner and Fahrenheit. Those restraints with those little vests. But suddenly Millennium Force they have lap bars as well. and they're really comfortable, but however, the only problem with Millennium Force is that bug issue. Yeah, I've seen so many vlogs about they're talking about bugs after they get off Millennium Force. To me, I didn't have that much of a problem throughout the ride. It's very smooth. It is really fast, and it's one of the most intense rides I've been on. But still, I have been on a roller coaster better than that. And that is Maverick. The color scheme doesn't have to do anything special, but still, I really love the way how you launch first, and then you go up the lift hill, and then you go straight down at 70 miles per hour. This has to be one of the best launch coasters I've ever been on. And this is arguably the best launch coaster I've been on. It's super intense. It has pretty good airtime moments. And the second half of the ride is phenomenal. Where you go through the tunnel, you launch. And I'm sorry, I'm having a little brain issue. Still, the tunnel is awesome. I really love the way how it launches you throughout the tunnel. It is just awesome. I really love the launch, and then suddenly you go through overbank curbs at 70 miles per hour. It has 2 inversions. It is a really cool ride. If you have never been on a Blitz coaster, try it. It is awesome. I do prefer this ride over iSpeed in Italy, but still, iSpeed is decent, but the Maverick has to be better than that. It has some pretty cool theming where it said, the Old West hasn't been this wild, and the restraints are very comfy. I thought it was not disappointing at all. I don't know if I have ever seen any flaws throughout the ride. It is glossy smooth. It's very intense. If you have never heard of a Blitz coaster, try the Maverick. It is absolutely intense. Please comment down below about your opinions, as long as if you're polite. This is Theme Park Lunatic Fringe signing out.